Welcome back to this segment of the Dark Reading News Desk at RSA. Terry Sweeney here, contributing editor for Dark Reading. And joining me now is Jason Meller, a Vice President of Product Management at 1Password. Jason, thank you for doing News Desk today.
Thanks for having me, Terry. I really appreciate it.
We are talking about Extended Access Management, or XAM, but before we go there, I want to just sort of sidebar this to hear from you about some of the most shocking compliance issues that you've detected among customer installations over the years. Tell us a bit about the things that you've seen added to machines that were head scratchers or more.
Yeah, so for background, XAM is new, Extended Access Management, but I've been the founder of Collide for years, so we've been running Collide for about 6 years now, so I've seen it all. And the things that are the most surprising to me is how much personal gaming and weird toy apps we see on these devices. You think, all right, I'm using this computer for work, but how many first-person shooters does one really need in order to work on that Excel spreadsheet? I think the weirdest thing that I ever saw, because we, at one point, were doing analytics, anonymized analytics across our customers. We're all right, what are the rarest apps that we've seen installed on these devices? And I found this one that was this weird alternative reality, Windows 95 thing. It was if Windows 95 was I think created by someone on acid, and it was this weird. So I actually downloaded the app because I could find the name and looked at it online. I was what is this person doing? Why is this an app that they're regularly using all the time? So there's a lot of weird apps I think people have, and then of course there's the apps that everybody has. I would say that the most surprising thing, if we want to talk about actual security issues, it's just how many people think that their device is secure. It's missing just fundamental stuff. So as an engineer, I'm an engineer by trade, the amount of engineers out there that they go into the terminal and they turn off the password protection for when you type sudo and then you have to put in a password. There's so many engineers that just turn that off. I'm too tired to have to enter my password.
Couldn't be bothered kind of thing?
Yeah, so they just write sudo and then any command they want and it just works. It's that kind of defeats the whole point of sudo. So that's one. The other one is the amount of times that we'll see MDM vendors, they don't actually, it's running, but it's not working anymore. So it's it looks like it's enrolled in MDM, but the disk isn't encrypted and you're whoa, we thought that this was working, but it's not. And that's one of the principles of XAM is you need an independent third-party perspective that isn't the vendor evaluating its own efficacy. So having a third party there helps sometimes.
Well, let's just start with then a definition of XAM for those who may be new to this three-letter acronym, this XAM. Tell us about really what it does, what it consists of, maybe how it's distinct from other access management protocols.
Yeah, so XAM isn't just a product, it's really our interpretation and perspective of where the identity and access management space is going. If you look at the state of the union when it comes to folks who are trying to figure out how to roll in and deal with all these SaaS apps, right? Most organizations today, they have hundreds and hundreds of SaaS apps they're dealing with. And the traditional way of dealing with it is, all right, you buy an MDM solution, you buy an SSO solution, and then you marry those things together, and then those folks log in, and then they sign in to these known apps. The problem is that sounds all well and good. It's this nice path that the IT team has created for users, but it's not necessarily the path that they're always taking. Have you ever been on a university campus, and they have the roads and the actual official pathways, and then you have these desire paths of where the people want to go. That's what end users are doing now. They're not asking for permission anymore to sign up and buy these apps. They're just going to those apps pages and signing up and putting in their company credit card, and then they're inviting all their colleagues to use it, and the IT team doesn't know about it. Or on the flip side, they're all working from home now, which has been a major transition, and what used to be something that never happened was taking your personal device into the office, which would be a bridge too far. They're just reaching over their desk, sliding their really good MacBook Pro over, and they're running all of their work apps on it. And so those two things are totally unaccounted for scenarios in the traditional identity and access management stack. We actually wanted to put a name to this problem. We call it the access trust gap. It's these unknown authentications to unknown apps from unknown devices with users that aren't even in our like user directory. We need to be able to create a solution that expands the aperture of what the IT and security team can see and then bring all that stuff under management. That's the goal of XAM.
Sounds like you're talking about something that's more holistic than what exists currently.
Right, right. Yeah, it's 100%, it has to be a holistic solution because it's not just one component. You can't just throw one silver bullet at this. You have to get insights into the apps that people are using. You need to get insights into the BYOD space and the devices people are actually using to do their work. So a lot of it is really a discovery component. And then it's all about giving people tools to do the right thing even when the security and IT team isn't there to hold their hand. So when they go and they try to sign up for that app outside of the normal process of acquiring an app, we at least want to have them the right tools, and that's like a password manager. 1Password Enterprise Password Manager is a good one as an example. We want to give them something so that even in absence of any security oversight, they're doing the right thing. And then you use those tools to derive the insight into what they're doing, and then you can bring those apps under management. And that's really at the heart of it, is trying to meet people where they're actually working, get visibility and shine a light, and then find avenues to legitimize the things that they're doing. Because that's the thing that I think a lot of people forget about IT people. They're enablers at heart. Security people are that way too. They don't want to be the people that are like no all the time. Like, we're sick of hearing the parade of no's anyway, and that's not what IT and security people want to be about. They want to be enablers, and this is a great tool to actually find something that end users find valuable and legitimize it within the organization. What's more enabling than that? I think that's great.
Sure. Well, let's talk a little bit more about end user remediation. Users fixing their own security issues themselves. This was really central to the company that you founded and was recently acquired. But now we're on to XAM. Why go the route of users doing it themselves as opposed to something like automated remediation, like with mobile device management?
Yeah, so I think there's a home for both. So I want to be very clear about this. We are not like, this isn't like an either or camp. These are not mutually exclusive ideas. It's logical to say if I have an MDM, it's a great thing that it automatically, as soon as it's out of the cellophane, the laptop is in a known secure state. That's a wonderful outcome, and there's no way that I want to dissuade anybody from trying to achieve that outcome. But we have to be realistic. First, you can't guarantee that you get all the devices that are accessing your SaaS apps on the MDM in the first place. So what's your plan for that? XAM tries to create an answer for that. The second thing is, the MDM isn't perfect. And there are certain situations where you really need the end user's ability to participate with the security team to fix the problem. The thing I think about all the time, and this is the thing that really it's like the true cause of a number of compromises, is vulnerable applications, right? So there are solutions out there that will take all of your app inventory data and they'll marry them to like a giant list of vulnerabilities, like with the CVSS scores and everything, and then you get this big mess of like alerts. Well, what do you do with those alerts? Well, you can't like reach into every app, every device and just delete those apps. People are actually using them, possibly. You need to actually work with the end user and be like, hey, are you still using this app? Shouldn't it be up to date? Why don't you go and do that? And if you don't do it, there's going to be a consequence to that. We're not going to let you access more of the keys to the kingdom unless you get to your device to a baseline level of security. That's an example where partnering with the end user is really powerful, because not only are they doing something that's really, really hard to automate, but you're also teaching them that this company cares about security. It's in our DNA. We take it seriously. We've made an investment that effectively says that we want everybody to be a partner with us at the ground floor to get this company secure. That's the vision of XAM, is to bring those people together and not think of them as just the generators of risk.
Okay, well, let's go back to the sort of unauthorized games that you have noticed in your years and looking at user devices. These unsanctioned apps, these unmanaged devices, the BYOD devices that you mentioned a few minutes ago, these things that we have referred to collectively as shadow IT, they've been a problem for, I think it's fair to say, at least a decade, if not longer.
Yeah.
Why are businesses suddenly so sensitive about these issues now and remediating them, mitigating them, getting them off the network, what have you? What's going on there?
I think there's two things that are driving that. All right, so we'll start with the one that's a little bit cynical. I'm not happy that this is a driver, but I'll take it as a security vendor. Budgets are getting a little bit squeezed on the SaaS side. People are looking to free up spend on SaaS, and that's actually driving people to be like, wait, our whole SaaS apparatus is totally out of control. We don't even know what is being spent, because if we add up all the apps that actually went through vendor procurement and then put a dollar figure at the end of that, and then we take all of our credit card statements and then add, those are totally two different numbers. So what the hell is going on here? The fact that finally companies were in a financial position to have to care about that created the definition of the problem. It's like, we actually have no idea what's going on, and we need to get our arms around it. So I think that was sort of the catalyst that started it. The other thing that started it was work from home. There's been these little bits of insight where people were like, wait a second, every time that I see my coworkers when we finally get all back together, that's not the company laptop, and that's got like their games on it and stuff. Like, I can just see visually that they're not using the company laptop anymore. When they're on screen share and Zoom and the apps that they have, it's like, it's clear that this is a family device. How much is this actually happening in practice? So people are starting to like get this psychic sense that this is actually happening at scale. And I think we've always known this is a problem, to your point, but it's really grown astronomically under us. We've been slow boiled to it, and now we're at a place where people are really getting compromised as a result. Like, some of the most prolific hacks that we've had in the last 2 years all stem from someone using a device or an application that IT and security really had no visibility into or control or management over. And that's only possible because users, they have free will now. They don't have to go into the office, go on the VPN to do their work. They're just logging into SaaS apps. It doesn't matter what network they're on. And we as IT and security practitioners, we can't put the genie bag in the bottle and make that old world come back. We have to figure out new techniques to work with those users and get our arms around this new problem.
Jason, wrap us up with telling us your thoughts or your ideas, your predictions about the future of XAM.
Yeah, so we built this product because we at heart, at 1Password, we want to solve issues that are really hard and they have a human element to it. And this access trust gap that we've talked about, there's nothing more human than that, right? It's people trying to do everything they can to be productive, to get a leg up in their organization. And as a result of that, we have this litany of unknown, unmanaged stuff that we have to work on. And everybody else is marching in the direction of the only way to fix it is to lock those users back down, put them in a box. What we're trying to do is, how do we capture the productivity gains we've gotten from this new world, but to do it in a way that's safe? That's what 1Password Extended Access Management is all about. And we think that it's a product that will unlock that productivity, but in a way that allows us to keep the company's data and effectively intellectual property safe for the long term.
Well, great stuff. I'd like to talk more, but I need to close this interview off so that I can go erase the games on my work computer. But I appreciate you stopping by the Dark Reading News desk.
I'll let you know which ones you need to erase.
Fair enough. We've been talking with Jason Meller of 1Password. Jason, thanks again for joining us. This has been Terry Sweeney for the Dark Reading News desk. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.